bloody fish that he has speared, and never had an issue with them trying to take his catch ever. They let him know that he's there, that they're there, and they're present, but he's never had a problem with them actually trying to take his dive bag, which is crazy, right?
And wow, that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because tiger sharks are, so prevalent, and they're known to be, rather aggressive sharks. So.
Right. And so he's protected because this is his amakua. So
yeah.
They work with him and not against him because it is.
Yeah, he has some great footage of tiger shark encounters of himself from his GoPro camera and stuff, which is some insane stuff that I don't necessarily like to watch too often because it scares me a little.
It is, after all, your son. So, yeah,
right,
I imagine that would be scary. We don't want to see that. But I love that he knows what it is, and even more, I love that it is something that he has seen evidence of in the way that they work in tandem with him. Now, we're not recommending folks to go out and play with sharks. Apparently, he has some special protection, but it is fascinating how that works. And I think, one of the things, too, you shared so much with us, Heather, but before we go today, I would love for you to leave the listeners with a quote that resonates to you. I ask that of everybody that comes on. So it can be anything, nothing specific, or something that kind of floats in your mind from time to time.
Well, there's a teacher in Hawaii, and in Hawaii, teachers are called kumus, and there's her name is Kumuhina, and she considers herself to be Mahu, and she has a great organization, and folks can look it up. It's called eplaceInTheMiddle.org. You can go to that website and look at a lot of her things. And she's doing great work right now for the Native Hawaiian community, and also for transgender individuals and people who feel like they're just in the middle, such as myself. And she is educating people about what that means to be in the middle. And she is a hula teacher, and she is spreading her word about what this means. And she actually has an entire pledge that I have taken the pledge, and I kind of try to live my life by the whole pledge. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will leave you with a quote that I think that I do think resonates with a lot of what we've talked about today. And so here you go. It says, "I believe that every person should be free to express what is truly in their heart and mind, whether male, female, or in the middle. I believe that every person should be able to practice their cultural traditions and to know and perpetuate the wisdom of their ancestors for future generations." And that is from Kumuhina, A Place in the Middle.
Kumuhina, in A Place in the Middle, guys. A Place in the Middle. This is fantastic work that she's doing. If you listeners out there have questions about the transgender community, find someone in your community to ask the question to. Be respectful when you go. Everyone of every culture, whether you're a lesbian, gay, straight, black, if you want to know something about the struggle of that community, we want to help. No matter how we come down on the spectrum or what we feel or whether we are white or black, we are willing to help. If you come respectfully, we want to give answers. We want to educate you. We want allies. Everybody wants an ally when you think about it. So don't be afraid to seek out resources like this person. And tell me the name again of her work.
Her name is Kumuhina, and you can look up, Kumuhina, and just go to aplaceinthemiddle.org. It's all one word, and there are YouTube videos. There are teachings in there for educators. They actually come out and will provide showings of their movie. The movie was also aired on PBS. A Place in the Middle. The movie is actually a wonderful little movie about a young girl who is in the hula company, who wants to perform the male portion of hula, which traditionally is not allowed. But being in the troupe that she's in with Kumuhina, she is allowed to just be her, and she is allowed to try out and fight for that position, just like all the boys or anybody, the rest of the opportunity. So she's given that opportunity to be on the boys' side of hula versus just having to do the girls' hula.
Absolutely wonderful, guys. Check this out. It's been on PBS, like she said, and there are places to find it. A Place in the Middle. It may just answer some questions. I think it really puts a human spin on this thing that we seem to be struggling with right now as a nation to understand what's going on in the transgender community. And I'm working right now, guys, to make sure that we can get on some transgender people as well to talk about their situation from their perspective in the front line. So this conversation isn't over. I want to thank you, though, Heather, for coming and having and beginning the conversation and breaking the ice of it. I think it's been so good to have you here today. And if the listeners have any questions for you, is there any way that they can contact you?
They can always reach out through my personal email is fine, which is kind of funny, you know, as we talk about animals and my connection to animals, be it that my email address is actually like Thumper the Rabbit, because as a child, my dad used to always kind of refer to me a little bit as Thumper, but, you know, because I was always getting myself in trouble. So email would be thumper1509@hotmail.com.
Thumper, like Thumper the Rabbit, Thumper1509@hotmail. Right?
That's right. Yes.
That's how you guys can reach Heather. Well, I want to thank you, Heather, for coming on today and for taking time. I know we're all on vacation, guys. We're on location, so if our phones sound a little janky, you know what's going on. We are in Alabama, actually, right now. So thank you so much for taking time from your pancake making, guys. I got to get back to these pancakes. These gluten-free pancakes. And taking some time to speak with us today. It's been so good sharing energy with you. I appreciate you so much for opening and beginning this conversation, and I'm going to do my part to make sure it continues. And thank you for your resources and your information, Heather.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right. So that was our time with Heather, guys. Wasn't she fantastic? It's so good to have on experts. I love and respect the work that she's doing, and we definitely will be continuing this conversation, like I said. And in that spirit, it's funny, we were talking a lot about animals and animal communication and all that goes into it. So today, as I was doing my meditations this morning, I knew that we had to work with the messages from your animal spirit guide cards. And this is a deck that was created by Stephen D. Farmer. And I love this deck. It's tactile. When you get decks, usually they're smooth. This deck is almost corrugated like cardboard. It's something you can really feel, and I think that really helps you get into the spirit and the feeling of your animals. And because we talked about specific animals today, I definitely want to tell you what those mean. Now, Heather was speaking about the pueo, or I'm saying it probably wrong, but it is the Hawaiian owl. And that's actually one of the cards in the deck. And it is about your ancestral spirit guides are offering you guidance now. So pay close attention to the signs and the omens from them. I love this for Heather, especially in her situation, because she was asking the questions about who her Amakua was. And her ancestral spirit guides heard that question, and they literally sent down the owl to intercept her path. And so I think this is, you know, how can you at all doubt that we're being communicated with when these kind of phenomenons are happening? When you see an owl, know that you are receiving that experience in the spirit world, because owls are incredibly spiritual. So no matter what your age or the age when the people that have passed over, you are definitely being communicated with ancestors from generations ago that walked on the earth. They're offering you help in many ways right now. So when you see an owl, pay close attention to what's going on in your life surrounding that owl. This guidance will come to you in many forms, whether it's through your eyes, your ears, or your thoughts. And sometimes ancestral spirit guides appear in dreams. Now, sometimes I do receive dreams for some of my clients or people that I have worked with or friends. I think that because the spirits know that I am open to communication, they come to me. Never scary. I've always asked not to receive anything scary because I am still human and can't handle that. But I will tell you that I do receive dreams from people's parents that have crossed over, and they come clearly with a message, and they tell me who it's for. So it comes in animal forms, and it can come in dreams as well. Or you might see someone in your waking life that looks like one of your ancestors, and then you see the owl not far behind, and this is just going to be something that is also letting you know. So often, like we've spoken about, a particular animal that's making an appearance in your life definitely is going before you, and you might hear something that makes you think of a specific ancestor. Repetition is key, and that's why I like the way that Heather described this. She heard about the Yamakua, was asking about it, and then saw the owl twice. So in whatever ways your ancestors try to contact you, please know that the owl is one of the signals. Now, there are many ways that it will come. It won't always be an owl, but when and if you see an owl, pay attention. I know friends that have owls as their kind of person, their kind of animal person, and they've had a lot of people pass over. So I don't think there's any coincidence about that. The next thing that Heather talked about was the shark. And the shark is all about trusting your instincts to discern the truth of the situation. Your instinctual self is that aspect that sends you the signals and to your brain directly from your body about being careful or knowing that someone can be trusted or not trusted. It's responsible for your survival, particularly when you're in a life-threatening situation and must avoid danger by fighting, fleeing, or standing still or quiet. Your instincts dictate which choice most likely ensures whatever you're going to do in your next direction. It's much more primal than our intellect, folks, okay? And it's what connects the humans with all other animals. So it's very important, if you feel like a shark might be your totem, like her son's totem, take time to tune into your gut feelings using slow and deep breathing and as an access code. You want to get into that breathing and listen with all of your senses to discern what your body is telling you, and use your intellect to interpret whether it's a conditioned reaction or it's an instinctual response. And here's the thing, as with anything, practice makes perfect. With practice, you will refine your perpetual capabilities so that you can completely trust what you feel. And the things that are associated with the shark, guys, are secrets, confidence, protection, respect, survival, authority, focus, assertiveness, and divinity. So when you're seeing a shark, that's what you're dealing with. And or if you feel drawn to a shark and think this might be your totem, understand that it's all about your instincts. Let's say for some reason you're in an office situation and you're feeling a little threatened because there's some politics going on or some gossip, and then you happen to a few times in that day see a reference to a shark. Your body, your mind and soul is telling you, be careful, pay attention, kind of keep your senses and wits about you, because not that you're so much in danger, but there are situations here that might not feel so tenable. So you want to get that under control. And I'll share with you guys the tortoise. For me, the turtle, the tortoise is something that I see all the time, and I definitely would liken it to a spirit totem for me. I've had tortoises come and stop, great big land tortoises, and just stop and look over at me and hold my gaze for minutes at a time. I have stopped traffic to move turtles across the road. I am not a touchy-feely kind of person or even so much a huge animal person, but I have this affinity for the turtle. And so let me tell you what that means. Sometimes it's saying you're too fragmented, so do whatever it takes to get grounded. Now, if you know me, you know I've got my finger in a few different pies. I'm always busy doing things. And so it's very important for me to sometimes get grounded. I've always got projects going on. When you're feeling pressure from any number of fronts, guys, or feeling pulled this way and that, it's very easy to succumb to this false sense of urgency and feel out of balance or fragmented. And that is something that I definitely have to meditate about and keep myself grounded. I usually keep a good few earth people around me as well. That helps ground me, and I connect with the earth in order to maintain my grounding. It's important that you get grounded, because when you're not, you can become forgetful. You can have difficulty sleeping, which I certainly did. You may even attempt to stabilize and center yourself by escaping through whatever addictive substances or activities or behaviors, trying to figure out a way to help you feel more at home in your own skin. Meanwhile, if this animal is your totem, your mind is rushing ahead from one thing to the next, which is what I do all the time. I am a creator of content in many ways, and so I'm always thinking about what's the next thing I have to do, what's the next article that needs to be done, who's the next person I have to interview, what's the next art show that's going to happen. And that is why I think